AI traffic. In my opinion, it's something that can make or break your simulation experience. For example, if you were in an airport in rural New Zealand and it was filled with Ryanair 737s, it would break your immersion pretty quickly. But if you're at London Heathrow and Terminal 5 is filled with British Airways aircraft, it adds to the realism. In today's video, I'm talking about one of the most anticipated add-ons for Microsoft Flight Sim, FS Traffic. An add-on that will be payware by JustFlight that will add realistic aircraft and their liveries in the form of offline traffic, of which follow real-world routes for Microsoft Flight Sim. Let's talk about the update on this product. Now I know when I opened this video I talked about live traffic. I'm actually talking about traffic, AI traffic in general. Whether that be live or offline. They both have the capacity to make or break a simulator. And today we're talking about JustFlight's FS Traffic. Now I'm talking about this one because there was a bit of an update on the Microsoft Flight Sim forum from a developer called John. He shared a bit of information and some screenshots as well, and I'll be showing you them all today. So first off, what is FS Traffic? Well, if you couldn't already guess, if you haven't heard me say through this video, it's a bit of payware that will be coming to Microsoft Flight Sim, I believe on PC, I don't believe on Xbox. That will add offline, realistic AI traffic to Microsoft Flight Sim, adding aircraft models and their correct liveries to follow their correct flight plans. You're going to have plenty Ryanair 737s flying out of Stansted, that kind of thing. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's in the name, FS Traffic, Flight Sim Traffic, of course. Now to talk about this update, the JustFlight team have been exceptionally busy. In the months of which they haven't really been talking to us about this product, they've worked on 700 high quality liveries, of which are spread over 43 models, of which are broken down into correct engine variants as well to suit the liveries. 700 high quality liveries, that is an impressive number. Of course you will be paying for it, but from the photos we've seen so far, they are going to be high quality, they're not going to be a slap job. Now aside from all this hard work, they've also announced some new models that they've introduced into FS Traffic. The one they show today is the 747-400, so I guess this took the model number from 42 to 43. We don't actually see too many of the 400s flying around in the sky now. Of course, British Airways and Virgin Atlantic retired their 747-400s recently with the pandemic, so it's a bit of a rarer aircraft nowadays, but some of them are still flying. And you can see one SATA, I don't know where it's SATA, I was going to say Heathrow, but I don't believe it is. Waiting for a lick of paint, it seems. Now John from JustFlight goes into a bit more detail about what this add-on is. He says to address some of the questions and concerns posted on the forum we're getting this information from, and elsewhere. Like other developers, they're at the mercy of the simulator when it comes to limitations, but they're working with Asobo to iron these out over time. To translate that for you, basically the SDK, the software development kit in Microsoft Flight Sim, can be quite tedious to work with because it's still a relatively new software. People have got to learn how to use it, and when you're developing things that haven't been developed before on a simulator, I imagine it's quite difficult. Now, as I said at the start of this video, to make it clear again, as JustFlight says, FS Traffic won't replace any live traffic. So online traffic, that's when you set your traffic setting to live, and it follows real world traffic flying in the sky at that time. But what they will be doing to sort of compensate for that is including flight plans for both pre and post pandemic years. So that means aircraft, albeit offline, will follow real world routes, I imagine at the correct time, and of course flying into the correct airports. That means when you're sitting on the ground at airports, depending on the time of day, you should see the aircraft you'd see there in real life. Now, I can hear you asking, well, why don't they just do live traffic? Why don't they make it easier for themselves and just assign aircraft models to live traffic and let Asobo do the work? Well, I can answer this for you. To put it bluntly, live traffic in Microsoft Flight Sim is very, very tedious. It doesn't work half the time. And aircraft, you will find, if you set live traffic on now, even without all the liveries and models that FS Traffic would provide, aircraft just disappear. Often, maybe 10 seconds after landing, they'll just disappear off the end of the runway, or just appear back at the ramp. You know, it doesn't really work. It's something Asobo need to improve, and it doesn't make sense for payware developers to sort of add to that system, because that system, quite frankly, is broken. So they're doing the next best thing. Well, I'd say it's a better thing, and introducing offline flight plans into Microsoft Flight Sim, which hopefully will be replicated into real world aircraft, flying at a real world airports, in the correct manner, that kind of thing, and it's something that really appeals to me. I would also say one thing with live traffic as well, you might find that it impacts your FPS, so hopefully the idea that this will be offline traffic should improve it, but of course it's just speculation here. Now, I've been sharing some photos of FS traffic from the past throughout this video, from the Q400 to a Lufthansa A320 at the gate. But allow me to share with you some new models, some new photos. So here we've got the Ryanair 737-800. I don't really know what airport it is. I was going to say Rome Campino if I was going to hazard a guess, but I might be completely wrong there. Then we've got a Virgin Atlantic A330-300, call sign Golf Victor Kilo Sierra Sierra, looking beautiful in the sun. It does look a bit plain when looking at the engines, but I'm sure there's still work to go. And finally we've got an Air New Zealand ATR 72, I believe, a 72-500, and the same with this one. It looks a bit blank, but I'm sure they'll update it, and who really cares, to be fair, as long as it's vaguely recognisable, which this one certainly is. It's only AI traffic at the end of the day, and of course the more detailed you make it, the worse it's going to be on your performance, so it certainly is a balancing act. These all look pretty good. I'd say the Ryanair 737-800, not 700, looks the best. But that just might be the lighting. You can see we've also got a Wizz Air A320 and EasyJet A320 behind us as well. It looks really nice. Now, I've spoken about live traffic, online live traffic enough here, but the last thing I want to say is that if you really want to use live traffic online, then you may be able to assign these provided models from FS traffic to live traffic. Now, John doesn't go into too much detail here, he basically just said what I said, but FS traffic is going to be as modular and customizable as possible, so you'll be able to select your own flight plans for aircraft, for example. So if you want to have aircraft flying out of, I don't know, Heathrow Airport, you should be able to make it. And if you don't want aircraft to fly out of, I don't know, Dubai International, you don't want, I don't know, an Emirates A380 flying out of there, then from what I can hear, you'll be able to disable it. So the great thing about FS traffic, from what I can read and see, is that it's going to be highly customizable. We don't know how much this is going to cost, and sorry Xbox pilots, I don't believe it's coming to Xbox. I might be wrong here, they might make a slightly dumbed down version, but by the looks of it, this is going to need an external application, and of course that's not going to be possible with Xbox. So looking at it from a realistic point of view, this is not going to be coming to Xbox, but you never know, they might prove me wrong. So what is FS traffic? Well, at the moment it's 700 liveries, spaced over 43 individual models, that brings offline AI traffic that follow real-world routes into Microsoft Flight Sim. From the photos we've had provided over the last few months, it looks really good, and it's something I'm really excited for. I think this could be an absolute groundbreaker in terms of immersion. But if you want to have live AI traffic or offline AI traffic now, then there are a few options. From the freeware that I've been using in this video, the Alpha India Group AI traffic, which is fantastic, albeit a bit buggy and certainly impacts your FPS. I've put a link to that and my video on it in the description. There's also a few payware options from a weird subscription service that I've forgotten the name of, and I have looked into it, but I think it's a bit too expensive for my liking, and Aerosoft Simple Traffic, which is about £13 UK and adds liveries to the default traffic. I really don't like that one, but some people do. There are a few alternatives out there, and if I was going to recommend one, it would be the Alpha India Group AI traffic. As you can see throughout this video, it's been what I've been using and it looks really good, although the models aren't as good as FS traffic's by the looks of it. From me today, that is all. I'll see you around. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see the source of this video, the forum post I've been going off, it's in the description, and all the other forms of AI traffic and how they can be brought into the sim are down below. I'll see you around, guys. Be sure to check out my Amazon affiliate links for all the stuff I use to fly, film and edit. And of course, hit that big red sub button to stay up to date with the most important Microsoft Flight Sim news, add-ons, reviews, and everything in between. Your support is always very much appreciated, so a big thank you just for stopping by. I'll see you around. Goodbye.